So welcome on the Evolve Fitness podcast. Today we have Nimrold on the show and we are going to talk about prep, but not only like contest prep, the way we think about it, like just before a show, but about the whole prep, like in general, with the off season and preparing for a show.
First of all, hi everybody. Yes, as Eleanor said, today we're gonna talk about the whole prep, not only about the prep phase before the contest. So, in my opinion, a prep always starts with planning. So when you plan out your growth phase, don't call it off season. When you plan out your growth phase, you have to put down a plan. Okay, for how many weeks I want to do this? How many weeks do I need to improve the areas that I'm struggling with? How many weeks I want to push myself to put on some size I need in different areas based on the judge's feedback or what your coach can see. So after you set a plan like, okay, let's do a growth phase for 20 weeks. In these 20 weeks, you cannot just push.
Yeah, definitely.
There will be phases when you have to step back, like to keep up a hold phase. When you don't try to push your weight up, you're just trying to push your gym performance up, but keeping the weight the same or decreasing a very, very bit. I mean, like if you are going into the hold phase at 90 kilograms, you can come down in 2 weeks, let's say 89.5, but not more than, okay, 0.5%. Okay. So once you start to push, it's very, very important to have data on previous preps.
Yeah.
So once you know where are your maintenance calories, will be very easy. You will just increase a little bit. You will add like 100, 150, 200, 250 calories. It depends on how aggressive you want to go on and how much you rush, to say like this. Yeah. Because if you have a very, very short time to improve, you have to rush. There you will go very aggressive. You will push. But that's not something you can do for a very long time. So this is why I prefer to do it for a long time, easy, step by step, everything. Yeah. So once we have this maintenance calories, we start to add. And we see how our body weight, our body composition, our gym performance is improving. There will be a moment when everything will stop down. So you cannot increase anymore your weight, you cannot increase gym performance, you got stuck. So what you can do in this moment, you can push on food a little bit. You can push on performance enhancement drugs, which is never will be a number one tool. Mm-hmm. Or you can step back and do like a hold phase for 1 or 2 weeks, just to give a little bit rest for your gut, for your digestive system. And after that, to try to grow again. Okay, let's say I have a 100 kilogram. Have it 100 kilogram, it's easier to do the math.
Yeah.
So I have a 100 kilogram bodybuilder. We are in a growth phase. He's running on, let's say, 3,500 calories. He's growing very well until 101, so 101 kilograms. And there he will get stuck. What can I do? I will start first time to keep the calories for another week to see if anything is going to happen or not. If nothing is happening, we will check on some health markers. To see if everything is in place, we try to push. But there may be some issues that must be fixed. I mean, if they are reporting like digestive problems, bloating, elevated fasted blood sugar, I mean, like constantly, that's something you must fix before you push again.
Yeah.
So from 3,500 calories, you can pull back to 3,200 calories for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, see everything, how it's going. And if there is the moment, you start escalating again everything. And in this case, you will always see an improvement. Yeah. Once you rest a little bit your body, the body will respond. Your body is always fighting for this homeostasis.
Yeah.
So once you try to do something extreme, something he's not used to, it will fight back. Okay? So after hold phase, we see blood glucose, digestive issues. If everything is on point, we start to escalate again. First step in escalation will be a little lower than the previous calories. So if I went down from 3,500 to 3,200, I will not go back for start to 3,500. So I will go like 34. So to keep it a little bit over the hold phase, but under the last push amount. Once you see him, so everything is okay with 34, gym performance will be increased, recovery will be increased, digestion will be on point, we escalate again. So this is the nutrition part. About training, you know, you are currently in a growth phase.
Yeah.
You know, there is a point, so you can eat as much you want, your performance won't increase anymore. So you will stuck at the same weight for 2, 3, 4 weeks maybe. That's when you can do, as you did, like deloads. Like give it a little bit of rest.
Yeah.
What's that mean? It doesn't mean you will drop your 200 kilogram squat to 100 kilogram. No, it means you can leave 2 more reps in the tank. Like if you do 0 to 1 RER, usually you can drop to 2, 3, or you can easily cut out one working set or 2 working set. It depends on how much working sets do you have for the certain exercise. If you used to do 4 hard working sets on a hack squat, just do 2 sets.
Yeah.
But go with them to failure. Because you already cut down 50%. That was what a deload means. Just cut from the volume, not the intensity.
Yeah, but I would say it really depends on everybody because, like, for example, I used to do that this way. So, like, cut down my volume. I was also cutting down my intensity. So, as you said, from 0 to 1, RER to 2 to 3. But the thing is, when I go to train, I'm training hard. Like, I cannot hold, myself from training hard. And even during deloads, I was still pushing to failure. Like I couldn't stop before because I'm so used to like give my everything in training. So I really found out that deloads were not really like traditional deload were not really working super well for me because I wasn't recovering at all because I was still pushing too much. So like recently I'm doing more like a week off or very small and short and light trainings just to have a little pump. but I really found out that it works really very well for me, because coming back from a deload, like a week off, it really helps me to be like, first want to go back to train and go back to the gym, because if I do a deload and I'm still pushing, I'm not like really resetting myself, and I'm still in this mindset of I don't want to go to the gym because I'm overworked. But after a week off, I really want to go back and train hard again and really push myself again. And also, I feel completely recovered. Like my joints are not aching anymore. I feel like I'm not sore anymore. Like all the fatigue is dissipated. So, like, you really have to adjust that according to your client or to yourself if you're your own coach, and see what works. Because some people can do deloads, like traditional deloads, cutting volume perfectly, and they recover and it's perfect. But for some people, like I think people pushing really hard and really into intensity and failure training, these people usually struggle to hold on and to keep like 2 or 3 RER. So it could be a good idea to just do like very minimal training or not training at all for a week, to oblige
Yes.
them, to just stop like and rest.
Yes.
So
You are perfectly right. So this is another method to do deload, like 3, 4, 5 days completely off from the gym.
yeah,
This is not working for everybody.
absolutely. This is why you
So
have
not
like
everybody can do this.
no.
Especially me, I cannot do this.
Okay.
So I can stay away, completely away for like 2, 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
I like to be there. I like to do it. So for me, it's way easier to cut volume or keep 2 RER than to not do it at all.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So this is a very, very important one between coach and athlete to discuss these things.
Yeah.
Because I may have this idea of cutting the volume, but keeping up the training, the intensity, everything. But maybe the athlete cannot do this. And here the communication is coming to be a key.
Yeah.
If you don't tell me what is your problem, I cannot solve it for you. And in so many cases, this is a very, very big problem between athlete and coach. Athletes, usually they try to be very, very hardcore. I can do this. Let's go hard. And they're like, okay, man, you know yourself the best. Nobody gonna know your body as you can know it.
Yeah.
So you understand your body the best. You know what is working for you the best. Let him know, help him out. It doesn't mean you are doing the job, but give him the informations.
Yeah. Give feedback to your coach. Your coach can adapt things.
Of course. So if I'm telling you, just do barbell squats, 10 sets, high intensity, high volume, weekly, but you have like hip mobility problems, but you will keep doing it. You want to increase your performance. You cannot increase reps, loading, anything. You will be struggling. And I will ask myself, what is happening there? Why weights are not going up, performance is not increasing, and you are not telling me anymore about your struggle.
Yeah.
If you tell me, man, I cannot do barbell squats because I have some lower back, hip, knee, ankle mobility problems, I won't program it for you. I will put you on a hack squat, on a Smith machine, or anything else possible. Or easily, I will put you doing lunges.
Yeah. It works.
And it's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because not everybody can do squats.
Yeah.
There are persons with problems, with injuries. There is no problem. There is always an option. You can do leg presses. So, back to ours. Two huge problems in the off-season growth phase. It's really interesting because they are the opposite one of the others. So there are athletes, they will say, okay, it's off season, I will eat everything just to gain weight. And they will end up with a lot of fat. Yes, obviously they will gain a lot of weight, but with a lot of fat, which is not optimal. The other side, the athletes who will try to stay too lean in the growth phase, which is not optimal at all. Don't get me wrong, I'm a coach who likes to keep the athletes lean in the growth season, but not excessively lean. Like, I don't want to keep anybody like 10% in the growth phase.
Yeah, definitely not.
Definitely not, but not over 15, 17.
Yeah,
I mean, there is a sweet spot. So
for
you
sure.
will find with everybody this sweet spot. Some of them will put on way easier certain amount of body fat. Other ones will stay lean, whatever you do with them. So you have to find with all of them, with each individual, what is working for them.
Yeah, because like some people can be in a better spot with a bit more body fat, like hormones are a good spot, everything is working well with
Yes,
more. And as you say, like some people, they're just staying super lean all the time, even if they eat a lot of food, like the ectomorphic kind of physique. And you really have to adjust to everybody because, like, as I said, like for some people, it's better with a bit more body fat.
yes, absolutely. So in a growth phase, we need that body fat. So as I said, body wants homeostasis. Homeostasis means a certain amount of body fat. So our body, for our body, it's not something very comfortable to live on 6, 7, 8% body fat, especially not for women.
Yeah, it's what I was going to say.
Because the lower you go on a body fat, your hormonal panel will be a little bit fluctuating. Like as a man, if I'm talking about somebody natural, the leaner you are, the lower your testosterone will be. As a woman, the leaner you are, the most probably you will lose your cycle.
Yeah.
And as a woman, this is like a disaster.
Yeah,
So
it has really.
it's not something you want to do it. It's not something you want to keep it up.
Yeah, like to lose your cycle for a few months on prep, it is what it is. Like it's unfortunately something which happens.
Yes, absolutely.
But you have to recover it.
Yes. It's like, okay, you're done with your shows. As a woman, you probably will be on a stage with like, let's say 7% body fat. Because on women, 7% is very, very, very lean.
Yeah.
7 to 10, it's perfectly fine for women on stage. So at 7 to 8 to 10% body fat on a woman, I bet you won't have a cycle.
Maybe some genetic freaks can still maintain it. Extremely rare.
Extremely rare, but as I said, extremely rare.
Yeah.
But because that's not the spot your body want to function it. So you're done with your shows. You like your physique. Okay, I'm super lean, I'm shredded, everything. And maybe you want to keep it up. But that's not what your body wants. Your body wants to get back the fat, the healthy amount of body fat, to get back your cycle, and to normalize everything physiologically.
Yeah.
As a man, it's the same. After a contest or photo shoot or whatever you are getting very lean for it. It's the worst period to gain muscle, because a lot of people used to say, okay, so right now I'm super lean, my insulin sensitivity is super high, let's put a lot of carbs in and grow. You won't, because in that period your body wants to build back the healthy amount of body fat. Your body doesn't want to build any muscle in that phase. Everything you will experience, like great pumps, maybe bigger muscles, rounder and everything, that's just muscle glycogen and maybe some muscle triglycerides. But you won't grow muscles in that phase.
Yeah, because you're insulin sensitive, but insulin is also putting fat in fat cells.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's the first thing it will do.
So I know it's a very, very great feeling after being very lean, going on a high carb state, just like before stage. You are lean, you carb up, your muscles are round and full, and you feel like superhuman, and your training is absolutely out of this world. You have some insane pumps and everything, but that's just my muscle glycogen. That's the best physical outlook for you, but in the same time is the worst physiological state of you.
Yeah.
So you are probably hungry, you are dehydrated, probably your electrolytes are not on the spot. So it's not an optimal state. Okay, so we have to find this sweet spot for both of the type of athletes, so the very lean and the fat ones, to keep them somewhere between. And when we see that, okay, we are coming to our 20 weeks of season's end, and we see, okay, what we did in this 20 weeks. We put on like 20 pounds, like 10 kilos of pretty lean mass. Right now, let's plan out our first show. And here you must be very, very honest with the athlete. So you cannot tell him, okay, so you are pretty lean, we can get ready for a show like in 10 weeks. That's rare.
Yeah.
Very, very rare. So be honest with him and tell him, man, I will recommend to start like pick up a show which is 16 weeks away. You can get ready probably in 13, 14 weeks, but keep those 2-3 weeks for an eventual diet break if you need it, or an extra 2 weeks if you are not ready for the show. So I'm always on this idea, being ready earlier is better than rushing the end of the prep.
Yeah, and also like for females, you have to take into account that they are not losing weight and fat as easily as men. So
Yes.
females need like 20, 24 weeks to get ready. And some males could also need this amount of time, depends on.
Yes, absolutely. It depends on individual.
Yeah.
That's why it's very important to talk to them, to ask them, to take their personal experience, because everybody knows on himself how easy I can lose weight.
Yeah.
If you know yourself as somebody who is keeping weight, anything he's doing, yes, you probably will need more time. As I know myself, I can go into deep growth phase. I can gain 20 pounds and I will be ready in 10 weeks because I know how my body is working. So I won't do this experience. Let's see this, let's see that. No, I have the recipe. This is working for me.
Yeah.
So this is why it's very good to work like long term with a client.
For sure. But if it's a first timer and you've never worked with the client before,
Oh, okay. There will be
first
always an
comp,
experience.
yeah, you really have to just prepare with more
You
time.
have, yes. I used to do like when I started to work with somebody as a new client, first 2 weeks are one of the most important. I always ask them in the first 2 weeks to be very, very precise with every gram of food, with every hour of sleep, step counts, and everything to report it so I can make an idea about how he's working. I set up a plan for him. Let's say 100 kilogram bodybuilder. My base plan is 3,500 calories for him. And if I see during these 2 weeks, he's losing like 0.5 kilogram a week, I will know these calories for this man are not enough, not even to hold. So he will lose weight on this one. So I will have an idea, okay, it doesn't matter how high I'm going with him in the growth phase. I know these are the amounts he will 100% lose weight. But here is a little bit of interesting twist in the things. If I take this guy at 3,500 and during the growth phase, I will drive him up all over to 6,000 calories. The body will get accommodate with this amount of food. So once you learn your body, this amount of food will function on this amount. Once you pull down, so I want to start like a fat loss phase with him, I don't have to cut it down to 3,000 or 3,500.
Mm-hmm.
If from 6,000 I will cut down like to 5,000, he will lose a lot of weight.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what you did.
Yeah.
From 4,000 to 3,000 was a huge drop. That's why it's very important to titrate up the calories in the growth phase. Don't be scared putting up a little bit of fat, but learn your body with a lot of food. If you are ending up your off season on like 3,000 calories, you will be struggling in fat loss.
Definitely.
Because let's say you ended up your growth phase on 3,000. I have to cut from there to make you lose weight. Obviously. Okay, maybe in 6 weeks, you will be at 2.5, 2,500. After another 3 weeks, you will be maybe at 2,000. That's a very, very small amount of food, especially for a 100 plus kilogram bodybuilder. And here is a big problem. So many coaches are not taking the athletes into the higher level of calories. So they're trying to keep them there 2,000, especially on women. 2,000, 2,100. Man, 2,100 calories. Okay, that's fine. That's the amount you should diet down. Not to finish an off season on 2,100 calories. A couple of days ago, I was listening to a podcast with Luke Miller, who said about his woman clients, like bikini wellness, are going all the way up on growth phase to 3.5, 4,000 calories, which it's a huge amount. So I cannot find you so many athletes, mans, who are going on 4,000 calories.
Yeah.
Because they will say, man, that's a lot of food. Yeah, it is. Volume is big, macros are so high. Not everybody can tolerate this, but you have to titrate up to learn your body. Because if you are struggling eating right now 25,000, in 2 weeks, you will be perfectly fine with those 25,000, 2,500. After another 2 weeks, you will probably do a 3,000. And another 2 weeks, probably you will be fine with 3,200. So you will learn your body with more and more and more and more food. And that will make your training performance increase. So once you have this adaptation to high macros, high food volume, your body will respond. So once you cut back a little bit, you will be fine. You will lose fat. And this is the best spot you can be when you start a prep. Like, I'm 16 weeks away from my show. That's the point. Why is important, again, this maintenance calories to know? Because once you're done, you're ready. Let's say you're ready for the show, but you have 2 more weeks. What you will do? You can stay on these maintenance calories to give your body a rest.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to force anymore my body. I just want to pull down all the stress, all the inflammations. So I'm just going on those maintenance calories, which will be perfectly comfortable for any of the athletes. Because bodybuilding has a huge problem. Growth phase, you have to eat a lot. Fat loss phase, you will be hungry. So once you have this sweet spot, like maintenance calories, less stress because of training, you won't be trained as hard in the last 1 week like you did it before. Less cardio, better sleep, maybe certain drugs are pulled off. That will be one of the best phase so you can be. Your body will say thank you. So it will respond on everything. So that's why planning up the growth phase, the transition to fat loss phase is very important. Very, very important. When it's about the last couple of weeks of prep, usually the athletes will be very, very tired, very anxious, and all of these things. There is the moment you have to work a little bit on their psyche. So psychically, they will be in the worst position. They will see themselves flat, small, with no muscles, maybe because of the little water retention. They will see them fat. So all of these things. That's when you can work a little bit and tell them, man, fat loss is happening when you are flat.
Yeah.
Once your glycogen stores are full, there is so many fuel for your body. So it won't let your fat being transformed via the mitochondria into fuel because no need. You have the carbs, full oil glycogen stores. Your body will use the carbs as a fuel source because it's the easiest fuel source. Once you don't have enough carbs, you are depleted. Your body will say, okay, which is our secondary fuel source? So please burn some fat.
You have to be flat to lose fat.
Yes. And doing this refeed, it's a complicated one. Some people will do this just for the adherence, just for physical, for psychology. so they will feel better, which I don't see the best way to do it.
Yeah, I don't really think refeeds are something which is really useful. Like, because also,
They can be in certain moments.
well, I feel it's mostly like psychological and feeling full again, like eating more and feeling full. But physiologically, I don't think it just gives everything better, like more than just keep dieting, like, or if you're like ready earlier, yeah, you can do some refeeds and stuff because you have
Yes.
time. But if not, like, I
Uh,
don't really see the point, because also it can predispose clients to binge because they can eat more and it can just open the door to binging.
yes.
So I don't know. I'm not really
So
fond on it.
my point on the refeeds, you should use them only when it's really required. I mean, your athlete is not losing weight for days. Stress level is very, very high. So cardio is over the roof, training is over the roof, calories are very, very few, and recovery is absolutely disaster. They are not sleeping well. When all these things come up, you can use 1 to 2 refeed days alongside a little bit of deload from training.
Mm.
What will this do? Will take your body into a state where you can recover. So will make you feel better, like muscle recovery, mentally recovery. You can calm down a little bit from cardio, from training. Stress will be lower. So it can help you in recovery. So it's not making you full, but will help you with recovery. But this kind of free feeds you can do, or you have to do, like maybe 2 or 3 during a 16 weeks of prep. It's not like a weekly or every second week thing.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, most coaches just use it weekly or every 2 weeks.
Oh, no. Come
It's way
on.
too much. And I
It's
don't
way
think
too much. If you have a huge bodybuilder, like 100 plus kilograms, and you just start prep with him less than 16 weeks, he's full. Coming from the growth phase, where he probably ate around 6, 7, 800 carbs a day, he will be really full. So why you would make him to fill up again after 1 week of dieting, where his carbs are probably still over 500? It doesn't make any sense.
No.
Yes, when you have a 100 plus kilogram bodybuilder and his carbs are around, let's say, 2 weeks out or 3 weeks out, and you are with him less than 250 for the last 2-3 weeks, yeah, they're probably, you may have a situation to use it, because 100 plus kilogram bodybuilder won't be so comfortable with 250 carbs.
Yeah.
So if he's reporting this kind of recovery problems, like sleep problems, you can use this. But what means a refeed? It doesn't mean, for me, a cheat day or a cheat meal.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
Just increase the carbs. That's it. Give him like 30, 40, 50% extra carbs. Is he going on 300? Give him 150 extra
But in this
for
case,
one day.
but do you compensate for the other days of the week? For example, 2 day we feed, but the other 5 days are lower to equate for the same amount of carry on during the week?
You
Or is it like
keep
a surplus?
you keep everything there. So I mean, let's say 3 weeks out. Before 3 weeks out, we are on Sunday. Monday we will start 3 weeks out. Sunday he's reporting his sleep is very bad. He's feeling tired, sore. I will say, and his carbs is let's say total calories are about 2,500 with, let's say, 250 carbs. I will probably say, okay, so we keep everything, but for the next 2 days, stay away from the gym. Just go for walks in the morning as a cardio. Don't train for 2 days and do this 2 days of refeed on probably 350, 400 carbs. After that, we keep everything. So you will have, yes, a surplus of probably with 150, 600, 1,000 calories for a week.
Hmm.
But with these 1,000 calories a week, you won't keep them. So you won't put any fat tissue or anything like that. So you will burn them so quick. Your body will use it to recover. We'll send it in the muscle, your liver. We'll try to refill your glycogen stores.
Okay.
And that's it. And after that, probably he will do a drop in weight. He can increase after the 2 days, maybe a 0.3, 0.4, 0.5 kilograms, maybe. But after that, a huge drop will come for sure.
Hmm.
Like last year with one of my athletes, it's 6 weeks out. He said, okay, right now I'm 88 kilograms, but I'm struggling a little bit with recovery. I said, okay, let's do extra 200 grams of carbs for tomorrow, and let me know how you feel. He woke up 0.5 kilograms less. And I said, okay, in this case, put another 200 carbs on the top of, and let's say tomorrow. He woke up another 0.7 less. So 1.2 kilograms with 400 total extra carbs in 2 days. So refeed can help you when you get stuck.
Yeah.
With at some point of the prep, but you don't have to do it like excessively.
Yeah, for
to
sure.
do it like you say every week or every 2 weeks. Use it when it's required, when it absolutely must.
Yeah, because for example, not for this prep, but for cut I did previously, I tried diet breaks. Like 1 week you increase a bit of calorie to like maintenance, and you reduce a bit of your training volume and stuff. So I tried that because it was the same principle as a refeed, like you drop fatigue and you can recover better and stuff. And you should go back to your diet with like maybe less body weight, because as you said, you can drop weight, drop inflammation, drop fatigue, everything, and just to be better and to feel better and have better performances and stuff. And I did it and I didn't notice any change. Like my body weight increased during the diet break and stayed increased. And like I didn't drop any weight. I didn't really progress. My performances coming back were not really better. So I just felt like it was a waste of time. And don't get me wrong, I was like really cutting hard. I was pretty lean. And I don't know, like I didn't overeat. I was just few calories, like 200 calories more than what I was eating. And it didn't really help. So this is why I'm a bit like skeptical about refeeds, because also like I really feel that sometimes it's more like a mental thing than everything else. But as you say, it depends on the client, depends on how their body is reacting. For ectomorphs and stuff, usually it works amazingly. But for more like endomorph, like people getting fat pretty easily, maybe it's not as appropriate and useful. And depends also like if you're on time with your schedule, because refeeds can maybe lower it a bit depending on the individual. So, and also like some people are like doing 2 refeed days. So for example, as you said, you increase your carbs and stuff, but then they are just decreasing the calories for the other days. So yes, they are a bit like in a surplus for 2 days, but then they have to drop their calories for the remaining time of the week. And it's really hard because like for 2 days you feel good and then you're hungry again super hard because you decrease your calories.
Yes, that's I would argue here. So why I would never do this compensation in the next 2-3 days, so like decreasing the calories. So I'm using refeed to take off my body from this fatigued phase. So I will put in extra calories to bring up my body to an optimal state to burn fat, to don't be that fatigued. If after that I will decrease the calories aggressively, I will put back my body in the same state very, very quick.
Yeah, I totally agree. But many people are doing that. And I'm like, what's the point? Because, okay, for today you're better, but then for the 5 next days, you feel like.
Absolutely. So there is no point on increasing then decrease. You keep it and increase and keep it again.
Yeah.
But this is not an absolutely must with everybody. So last year I had an athlete, we were preparing for the European Championship, 16 weeks, not even one refeed was done.
Yeah.
Because it was not required.
Yeah.
So he was losing weight exactly how I did my math. So I knew that, okay, we are here at this point, let's say Monday, until Friday, I want him at this weight. He was exactly that weight. Like, we arrived to Spain, we had to do the weight cap, 70 kilograms. So under 70 kilograms. We arrived to Spain 2 days before the weigh-in, 71.5 kilograms. I say, don't worry about it. In the day we go for a weigh-in, you will be 69.9. I said, okay. So we just went for a walk, doing some extra activities like walking, but nothing, no training, no cardio, nothing. In the day before the weigh-in, 70.5. He said, how I'm going to lose another 0.6 kilograms until tomorrow if we are not training? See, trust me, I have the math. There won't be any problem. The next day, he woke up 70.1. I said, okay, go to the bed, pee, and come back. He came back 69.9. Say, okay, you ready for the weigh-in? Go down and do the weigh-in. And he was like 6998 for the weigh-in.
Okay.
So with him, was not required doing anything fancy or any refeed or cut. No. So we just did it was the simplest prep I ever done with anybody. The simplest. Okay. Any questions?
So like maybe let's talk a bit more like about how to organize things. So first of all, like growth phase or off season, it should be structured as a prep because the progress is made in off season, not during prep.
Absolutely.
Well, a case can be made for enhanced competitors because you can still maybe gain some muscle during a prep if you have some.
Of course.
But it's not the most optimal environment to gain.
No, absolutely so not.
You should really like spend weeks and months like just in a growth phase to really gain some tissue and keep this tissue because you don't want to lose it right away when you prep. And like you should like first you assess your physique before the growth phase. You see what your weak points are, your strong points are, what you need for your category. And then you have to program everything around that, including like having a good training program, because if your training program is shit, doesn't matter the amount of like food or PEDs you're taking. If the stimulus you get from your training is shit, you won't progress optimally. So you need a very good and specific training program the whole time to really have a good physique and muscle gain from it. And also, like, you shouldn't cut it short. Like, if you get a bit fat, you shouldn't stop your growth phase like right away. You can do a mini cut if you need to, like just
Yes.
6-8 weeks of mini cut in the middle of your growth phase. It's perfectly fine. You can drop some body fat and then go back to growth. And also it can help resetting your hunger and health markers. So, like, I
Yes,
think
of course.
mini cuts is a very good tool. I did it for this growth phase, and it helped me to lose like 3 kilograms. It's not, it can be like not a lot, but it was mainly fat. So it's very good because you don't have metabolic adaptations from it. You don't have muscle loss from a mini cut. It's only fat loss. So it can help resetting a bit everything to keep going with the growth phase. And yeah, you shouldn't like be uncomfortable with getting fat. It's part of the process, and you have to embrace it in a way, because it's where the progress is made. Staying lean, as you said, all the time is not working. And for females, something important is that every single female should have, in my opinion, at least 6 to 8 cycles, which are normal. So ovulating cycles, to be sure your hormones are at the right level. And
As you said, at least.
like minimum between 2 competing seasons,
Yes,
you need
yes,
to have at least 6 to 8 normal menstrual
yes,
cycle. And so you're sure it kind of prevents risk of cardiovascular disease, osteoporosis. So it's something which is important to have a normal cycle and with ovulation, because the first cycle sometimes can be without. So it's not optimal hormonally. So females have to really take care about that and spend the time needed in off season to recover. So the body is then responsive during prep, because if you're not recovered, if you're off season, like you're still low hormonally, then you start prep with a very bad base and your body is not responsive.
yes. So as you said, off growth phase or off season is the base of everything. There is an expression some athletes use and coaches also used to use. It's like, let's grow into the show. That means growing into a show, so starting a prep without an off season before. We did it also this last year with both of my athletes. I did this, and actually we ended up winning almost everything. So it can works.
Yeah.
But it's not the best way to do it.
It's not
So
like
we did it because they had decided they want to compete very, very late. So like one of them told me like middle of June, he want to compete in the autumn.
oh yeah, that's late.
And the other one, maybe it was July almost. So like 2 weeks later, I said, okay, guys, there is no time for off season. So let's start a little bit higher on calories. So
Yeah.
for the start of their prep, I put them in higher calories than they used to cruise on.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, we went back a little bit. But I mean, both of them ended up like 3 weeks out from the show on almost 3,000 calories. So one of them ended up on the stage with 4 kilograms over the weight he started the prep.
Mm-hmm.
So this let's grow into the show can work.
Yeah, but you need
So
like drugs.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So naturally, this is not the way you want to walk.
Yeah.
So it can work, but it's not the best way to do it. In a very, very well planned off season or growth phase, you can prep your body for the prep itself. So you will have a lot of data to use later.
Yeah.
You will find the highest calorie intake you can tolerate. you can find the highest amount of carbs you can tolerate without having fasted blood glucose over the roof. You can find the perfect combination of the macros, which is the best for your digestion. Some athletes can go on higher fats and lower carbs, others don't. So off-season is a perfect time to learn about the athletes.
Yeah, this is why you need to keep a good structure, like collect data
Yes,
as you do during prep.
absolutely, absolutely.
Cannot be random.
Many of them doesn't like to do this.
Yeah.
They are not completing the Google sheet I send them. So I have no idea about what his blood sugar is, how many steps he did. And if I don't have these informations, it's very, very hard for me to work with.
Yeah, for sure.
Once I have this, I can do the math. To be honest, I hate the math. I was always the worst guy in the class on the math classes. Right now, I'm only doing math. Okay, so once you have these data about your client or athletes or whatever it is, it's way easier to work. You have the base, you just have there to put some extra or to cut from there.
Yeah.
It's becoming a simple math. But here is coming the honesty between client and. So once I will see like he's going down, and I will see like a 1.5 kilogram increase from Friday to Monday. I'm like, I have to ask him what happened, or he will tell me without. If he is perfectly correct, perfectly fair with you, he will say, hey, coach, I ate 3 pizzas and I had a bottle of wine. That's why. And I'm like, okay. So I know these 3 pizzas and a bottle of wine will put you in this state. Will put 1.5 kilogram on you. If he say, hey, coach, last night I took 2 glasses, like 200 milliliters of wine, and I see a 0.3 kilogram of drop in weight, I can use that information like, okay, so maybe if we are struggling with weight cap, I may use the 200 milligrams of wine before the weight in to put him there where he should be. So this is very important to be 100% honest.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You need constant feedback and honesty so you can work your best as a coach.
Yeah. So I'm working actually with somebody that I saw him struggling. So his weight was very, very constant for like 3-4 weeks. And I asked him, man, what is happening? Be honest to me. He said, yeah, I really try to eat everything I have in the plan. I train so hard, but I don't feel comfortable. So my stomach is always full. I'm bloating, I'm farting a lot. I'm like, okay, man, tell me, let me know about. For how many weeks you are doing this? Oh, like 2 weeks. And why? You never told me anything about. Let me know. So let me know so I can change things. Or another one, he never said me that he's not tolerating the oats. So he has digestive problems with the oats. He has gases and bloating. Man, it's not a must-have to eat oats. Just do a bagel instead. Do cream of rice, anything else. That's just an option.
Definitely.
So, yeah, growth phase, this is why it is the base. So you will build up the prep on the data you are collecting in a growth phase.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's the moment where you will learn your athlete's body and how he is reacting on everything. is the moment when there is no problem. You can tell to him, man, please, today instead of last meal, have a burger and fries. You will try to convert it like macros. Okay, if in the plan you have 200 grams of beef with 300 grams of potatoes and some avocados, probably, just take a burger. Macros will be there, probably a bit higher because more fat, but kind of that. And you will see how he's reacting. You will see, can I use in certain moments a burger and fries or not? Is he tolerating well or not? How will be your digestion tomorrow? Will he reporting any problems after having that meal or not? Because it's not working with everybody.
Yeah.
So if I stick to a plan, usually very low fat, because I'm this low fat, high carb guy.
Me too.
And I fuck up, sorry the expression, and I go for a cheat meal like pizza, burger, or anything else, the next 2-3 days, my digestion will be horrible. So I will have problems. So that's why if you don't try these kind of things in the growth phase, it will be like a wild card to use it in a prep.
Yeah.
Or like to carb up or right before the show day. I did it also. So last year, before last show, my athlete's body was not responding to anything. So he had a lot of carbs, a lot of water, and everything was not responding at all on anything. He was not filling up, not drying out, nothing. And I said, last meal was planned like some cream of rice. I said, okay, for the cream of rice, and order from McDonald's. Burgers, fries, whatever you want. I didn't sleep for 1 minute that night. When I started to hear that he's waking up, going to the toilet very often, I said, okay, something is happening.
Yeah.
So the morning of the show, he woke up 1.5 kilograms less.
Damn.
But shredded and without any water retention. Muscles were round and okay, we are the perfect spot to put some carbs in and everything will be perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
So we started with cream of rice, honey, some jam, bagels, everything. And right before he went on the stage, like 1 hour before, I ordered from the McDonald's another size of fries and burger. Take the fries, drink some water, and everything was perfect.
Yeah,
So right now, and it was like a white card. I said, okay, maybe we will make it worse, but this is not something we want to put on the stage. So you go on stage like this or a bit worse, it will be the same. There will be no place. So we ended up like winning the classic physique, second and third place in men's physique. So everything was good.
Yeah.
And then it was a white card. So we didn't know what's going to happen.
Yes,
But
this
it
is
was
why
okay.
you need to have a good coach who can just adjust and improvise sometimes, you know? Like,
Yes, but all the time when you are improvising, there is a nobody knows what's going to happen.
absolutely, but at least like you have the knowledge to work around. Like you're not staying on one protocol and that's it. You have the knowledge to try new things and see
Okay.
what happens.
Yes, absolutely.
This is
And
what,
here is coming the experience.
yeah, absolutely.
So once, for example, you say you put all these carbs and everything in your athlete, but he's coming in the morning with like 2 kilograms less or 2.5 kilograms less. He's not holding the fullness. It means you need more fat in the last meal. because his metabolism is so quick.
Yeah.
So he's burning everything. Hey, you have to slow down a little bit. Last meal, a little bit less carbs, bump up a bit on fats, and he will keep the fullness. So usually he used to lose about 2 kilograms from evening to morning. We did this switch with the McDonald's. He lost only 1.5, which is 0.5 kilogram difference. It can mean a lot.
Yeah.
Water retention was gone. So we were in a perfect place. So, okay, from here to stay just a couple of hours, let's just put the carbs and the water and salt in, and you will be fine.
Good. Yeah, it worked well.
And about this is coming into the last moments, but I want to touch this subject with the sodium. I'm going crazy when I still hear people cutting sodium before stage, like 3 days before. Why?
It's the worst thing ever.
Yes. So to explain it very, very simple, it's coming down again to the homeostasis of your body. Once you cut down your sodium, your aldosterone level will go up. Aldosterone is responsible for the reabsorption of salt and water. Once you try to go down on your sodium, your body will hold on every water he can, all the salt, everything. Once you go up on your sodium, aldosterone is going down, water is going out. It's as simple. So that's why I don't understand why still people, okay, cut out sodium. No, keep it constant. Yes, you can play with this low sodium, then sodium loading, but this is very risky.
Yeah.
So if you did it 10 times on you and you know the exactly amounts to use it, that's fine. But it's not something you want to try for the first time. You may ruin somebody's prep in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Because if you overdo it, the sodium loading, he will end up like a water balloon or something. So it's not something to mess up with.
For sure. Like you should still increase a bit the sodium with carbs during peak week, because carbs are absorbed and go to the muscle with sodium and water. Like you have also to increase your water intake, but don't do drastic changes. Like try to keep it not so variable from one day to the other.
Yeah, no. So when you are going on the extremes, usually it's not coming out what we want.
Yeah.
Yes, do slight manipulation on water, increase 1 liter or decrease 1 liter, add 1 gram or cut 1 gram of salt. But okay, on salt, I say keep it constant. Maybe 1 gram extra, but that 1 gram extra, keep it for the whole peak week, not one day before. Keep it for the whole peak week. Usually, measuring very, very precisely the salt, we start 2 weeks out. So once we are 2 weeks out, we start to measure very, very precise the amount of salt, and we go with that until the show. Before stage time, like 10 to 15 minutes, when they are already pumping up in the backstage, they used to do like a pinch of salt with some water and jam or something very, very quick carb right before the pumping up or mid pumping up. Usually this pumping up, it takes 10, 15 minutes. And this time is perfectly enough to get those salt, water, and carbs in your system. So you should end up on the stage with some huge wines and full, and that's it.
Vascularity.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do this magic on the last week. There is nothing magic can happen.
Totally agree.
The magic, the huge changes will come from cutting out the cardio, reducing the fatigue, dropping the water out. That's it. That's the magic what is happening on peak week. The magic is not coming from bumping up the water from 3 liters to 10 liters a day, or cutting out the sodium, or going on zero carbs. That's not the magic. That's the stupid thing.
Yeah, I totally agree. And a few points like I would like to talk about. It's
Go
also
ahead.
like from prep to prep, it can be pretty different because during the off season you gain some muscles. And like for example, your data from last prep so it gives you an idea, but it can change pretty much for another prep because with more muscle mass, maybe also your metabolism is a bit higher. Maybe you expend a bit more energy, so maybe your calories can be a bit higher, and you can diet on more calories, and maybe your body is not responding the same way, and your like stage body weight is going to be for sure different if you improved. So you have to use this data, like the previous data, but you have also to take into account that it will be different in many ways.
This is like an easy one for me. So if I end up like a contest period with somebody ending up like 90 kilogram on the stage, and I know that he was eating in a growth phase, the previous growth phase, he was eating like 350. I mean, the previous contest shape it was like 88 kilograms, and now he's 90 kilograms. That means 2 kilograms of muscle, which visually is a huge difference. So probably we will start his off season a little bit higher than we started before.
Yeah.
So if I started his off season like 2 years ago on 3,000 calories, probably now I will start on 332, so 3,200. So like a bit extra. I have 2 kilograms, I put 200 calories extra. And I will see in the first 2 weeks how he will react. Once he will stop growing, gym performance is not going up, appetite is over the roof, I will feed him. So if I like something, I like to feed them.
Yeah. Yeah. Food should be the first thing you increase, not drugs.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Drug increasement is always the last choice you have.
Yeah.
It's like a last option. Once you try to train harder, you try to fuel your training, like pre-workout, intra-workout, post-workout recovery, sleep quality. So you have all the tools to increase gym performance, food, and all supplementation. And if with all these things are on 100%, then you can consider about adding something a bit. I mean, a bit, it's a bit, like 50.
Yeah.
On something, wherever you want. Like maybe you increase a 50 on Masteron or Primobolan or Nandrolone, whatever you want. But it's not like, okay, so I stopped increasing my performance, I'm not gaining any more weight, let's put some drugs in. Okay, you have more drugs, but you have the same amount of food. What's going to happen? Nothing. Maybe your gym performance will be a little bit bumped up because of the drug. But if the food is the same amount, nothing will happen.
Yeah.
Because if I have certain amount of proteins with, let's say, a total of 500 milligram of AAS loading, but I will have the same 200 gram of proteins with 800 of loading, there will be no change. Not, I mean, really change.
Yeah.
Because, training improvement, yeah, the gym performance will be improved a little bit, but what's going to happen to your recovery? You will train more intense. You will increase the loading. You will increase the reps. That means extra stress for your body, extra fatigue. You have to keep up with the recovery. I mean, like, if I run a marathon, I eat certain amount of food to recover from. If I will like 2 marathons and I will keep up eating the same amount of food, I want recovery from that.
Yeah.
So that's why first we play with the food. After that, we play on the dark side.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And also, like during prep, it depends if you are doing several shows or only one show. I would recommend doing several shows, but it can just change your prep schedule, I would say. Because, for example, one mistake I've done is to like try to pick for my first show. So my first show was Valahia, beginning of October, and like 1st or 2nd of October. And I wanted to have my best physique at this time, but I competed until mid-November. So I had to keep.
Oh, that's like 6 weeks.
Yeah, I had to keep my condition for like about 2 months, because it was like mid-November from October. Like it was, yeah, 1 month and a half, something like that. And it was very hard. And at the end, I was very over dieted, like my body was really over dieting, and it was looking great as it was at the beginning of the season. So something I would say is like you have to choose one show you want to pick for, I would say at the middle of your season. So at the beginning of your season, maybe you're not at 100% yet, but you can do some regional shows. So you can qualify for pro shows if you want to try pro shows. And it's like kind of warm-up shows at the beginning of your season. So maybe you're like 90% ready, but it's like still good. Like you can still step on stage in a good condition. You're not feeling ashamed with your physique. Like you look good, you look conditioned, you look still ready, not ready at 100%, but 90% is, in my opinion, good enough for the first shows. Then you arrive on stage at 100% for your peak main show. And for the last one, you're still at 100, but you're not over dieted yet. You're still in a good condition,
Yes. Yes, a very good question, because it's becoming a little bit more complicated when you want to do multiple shows, especially if those shows are so close to each other.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Far away.
Or too far away. Yes, you're right.
Because I did both, and either is good.
Too far away. I mean, doing like, in my opinion, this 4 to 6 weeks between the shows are not a good period.
Too much.
Too much or too less?
Like for me, the sweet spot is 2 weeks between show. 2 weeks, perfect.
3 weeks are perfect between shows.
Not more, not less.
Or, so as I said, 4 to 6 weeks. I don't like that period between shows. It's not enough to recover the athlete and prep him for another one, but it's far too long to keep them down.
Yeah.
So like, I cannot use 2 weeks pushing a little bit up on food and then going down again, because it's too close. But I cannot keep him 4 weeks on like peak week amount of calories.
Yeah, or maybe dieting down.
Yeah, so that's why I like this 2 weeks, 3 weeks maximum, or at least 8 weeks. Because I have 8 weeks between 2 shows, I can do a very, very good transition.
Okay, but like during these 8 weeks, you're not staying in a deficit, you're going back to maintenance or something.
Of course.
Okay.
So if I have these 8 weeks, so let's start with the closest ones. If you have like 2 weeks between, it's a very easy one. Like right after the show, usually competitors are going out for a meal right after the show. They are taking a pizza, burger, ice cream, whatever they want, which is perfectly fine. I have no problem with it. The second day will be kind of recovery from them. they will feel a little bit lethargic, a little bit lack of energy. So day one after the show, we don't count on. After that, you can put them in a phase like maintenance for 2-3 days to bring back a little bit the homeostasis. And after that, to push again, to drop down. This is like the 2 weeks scenario. If you have only 1 week between the shows, like you are doing back-to-back shows, there is no time for anything. You're done with the show, maybe one meal, maybe. Yeah. And from the second day, drop down and go hard again. 3 weeks, it's again a good spot between. Because you have more time to spend on the maintenance before you go again down. So you can give a little bit rest to your body. So right now, this season, I'm going to have somebody in August for the first one at the Amateur Olympia. And after that, that's on August 26th, 25, 26th.
Yeah, I think so.
And his next competition will be in 10th of November, I think. So there are like 7. It's another Amateur Olympia in Italy.
Oh, okay.
So when we choose the contest, we were looking for this 2-3 weeks. There were no shows that we liked. So we said, okay, then found another one, 7-8 weeks. And this Italy, and after that are several shows like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So these 4 to 6 weeks are not optimal.
Yeah.
In my opinion, there are probably other coaches or athletes who likes to do this, or the other ones, so they are able to do like 7-8 shows in a row. Like for me, especially when we talk about women, to keep them in contest shape for like 6-8 months, it's a little bit out of this world.
Yeah, I still agree.
I don't know how they can handle the stress with it, but I mean, even for a male, where we know hormonal stuff is more stable, they are struggling with keeping up contest shape for this long. So we used to prepare with somebody for the same Amateur Olympia, and as a second show, we picked up the Euromasters, which is end of November. So we kept like 10 weeks between the 2 shows. Say, okay, let's do one show, do another one, and after that, we will see if we're gonna do a third one. Maybe if we can find somebody, something very, very close to that. Because, like, he was supposed to diet for the Amateur Olympia like 16 to 18 weeks. I said, okay, you will diet down in 16 weeks for the show. Maybe you won't take the card, so we have to do another show, which is 10 weeks away. That means another 10 weeks of strict meal plan and training. Those are already 26 weeks. After that, probably one more month, we will end up like 30 weeks of prep, which is a huge amount of time. It's a very, very long period.
Yeah, because
probably your body won't respond as well after a couple of weeks. Probably at one moment we'll say, okay, guys, it's enough. I'm not doing that anymore. And when your body saying that to stop, you must stop.
Yeah, because like for me, I did 30 weeks of prep. I started my prep in January and I finished it in September, October. So it was 30 weeks. Yeah, I was natty too also. So it was, and I had to get peeled. So it took
Yeah.
time. But at least I was ready and stepped on stage conditioned. So it was the whole point. But then after 30 weeks of prep, I stayed 6, 8 more weeks in the same condition. So eating 1,000 calories a day, which was really hard. And
Oh.
yeah, it was. And like, because my shows were not so far away from each other, like it was 2 or 3 weeks all the time. So I kind of have to like do peak week. So I was eating more during peak week, and then I was going back down to a deficit to just go back to my normal condition.
You know, as you said, when you are planning to do multiple shows, you must decide exactly, you said, which one is the main event you want to be 100% for.
Yeah.
Because once you go 100% for one show, you are almost 100% impossible to keep that 100% for another show.
Definitely, yeah.
So yes, you can be 98% or 99, but not 100. If you go into your first show like 95%, you see the pictures, you have the feedback from the judges, and you say, okay, what can I do from here to be better? I can be a little bit fuller, I can be a little bit drier, I can be a little bit more conditioned. That's what I have to do. But in this short period, like 2-3 weeks, you cannot change your whole outlook.
No, you can just keep dieting.
You can do this cosmetics, like maybe 1% change from a show to another. Yes, you can be fuller, you can be a little bit drier, you can nail your peak a little bit better, maybe a little bit more or less fluid, and that's it. And that's why you must do a show before your main event. I mean,
yeah.
So it's not optimal going straight into your main event, because there can be variables, and if you go as a first show in your main event, you may regret it. So you say, okay, so this was my main event, but I could came on like fuller, drier. No, go for a show, see what you can do, what is best for you, try to experiment a little bit, and then go into your main event.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's what I will do for my next competing season. It's like choosing my main show at the middle of my competing season and doing like 4 to 6 shows total per season, and not far away from each other, so I can just go through and that's it.
I mean, if you can find like 5 shows in a row, like 2 weeks difference between,
It would be
that's
nice.
a perfect.
Yeah.
So like in 2 months you're done with your season. That's a good one.
Yeah,
It's a little bit harder to find shows like this.
You have to travel,
Yes,
unfortunately.
but if you're able to travel like longer distance, you can do it.
Yeah.
But if you want to keep it close, like to don't go far away, it's a little bit more complicated.
Yeah, but in Europe, like it's pretty easy to travel. It's not so long. It's like short flights. So
Yeah.
it can
So
be
in Europe, you can go anywhere like in 4 hours flight maximum.
yeah. So this is why
Maximum.
it can be fine.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people from the Gulf, like Arabic people, are coming to Europe for competing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And another reason, because if you go to compete there, oh man, the level is so high.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they are doing something very, very good there.
Okay.
So like if you go to Dubai to competing, or that area of the Gulf, there the level of the athletes is insane.
Okay.
Okay, they have this genetical stuff. They have very, very their skin is
very
very
thin.
like the paper.
Yeah.
It's thin. It's like the paper.
Mm.
And this is because of the adaptation to the climate.
Yeah.
So as in Europe, it's a little bit colder. We are with a little bit more skin, more
Yeah.
skin, a little bit more fat. Now they are dry to the bone. And that's the reality. Okay, it's not, we cannot use this like an excuse. It's not an excuse. It's something real.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And one last thing we can finish on is to take as time as you need to bring the improvements needed. Like, in my opinion, the worst thing ever is to look the same from one season to the other. So, like, if you need to grow a lot, take the time to grow. You don't have to compete every year. You can compete like with 3 years in between or 2 years in between, but just take the off-season time you need to really change your physique and bring a new physique, like 2.0 version of your physique on stage for the next time. Like, it's my case, because when I competed in figure, I was still natty at this point, and for sure, like, the level is high. I need more muscle, and for that, I chose to took 2 years off season. Like, I did 11 months of like straight growth phase. Then right now I'm cutting to find a good body composition back and to be leaner. And then I'm going to bulk again, like to grow again for a few months and then prep. So I'm taking like a lot of time, but it's needed to be on stage with a physique which is undeniable.
To be honest, this conception with I have to compete every year, it's one of the worst thing you can do as a competitor for yourself. Now, you don't have to think like this. You have to. Now, you have to improve. You have to bring an upgraded physique, an upgraded package.
Yeah, it's bodybuilding.
When you're competing, it's bodybuilding. It's not like body keeping.
Yeah.
No, it's bodybuilding. Bring something new. Something. Show us what you did in the last couple of months. And bringing something new, it doesn't mean only more muscle. Yeah, you can come with the same amount of muscle, no problem, but come with a better shape.
Yeah, it could be
come in more conditioned. Because if let's say I have one men's physique athlete, the feedback from the judges is he was not sharp enough, he was not conditioned enough. If I will come back with him 1 year later or 6 months later, more muscular, but with the same conditioning, he will place the same or worse. Now, you have to take always these feedbacks, what they want to see on you. They want you more sharp, more conditioned, more dry. Okay, guys, that's what's gonna bring you next time. We will concentrate on this. We will build up our growth phase based on this. What they say you must be a little bit more conditioned on your lower back, midsection. Okay, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna work a lot on his lats, on his mid back, on his shoulders and chest. I will create the illusion that waist is smaller. I will force him a little bit on the lower back to make it sharper, to make it more conditioned, and it's like a double win. I create illusion, and I accomplished what they were asking for. So this more muscle, it doesn't mean always a win. Yeah, absolutely can be, but it's not what we are looking always for. let's say you have like a weight cap. You are on the top of the weight cap for classic physique. You cannot put any more muscle because you won't be able to do the weight cap. What you can do, bring better condition, bring better symmetry, better overall outlook. Maybe you are too big on upper body and small legs. Work on it. Focus on your legs to change a little bit the outlook. So you have improved. You worked on your aesthetics. You worked on your conditioning more. So you can come up 90 kilograms and 90 kilograms and being totally different. So this is why it's an interesting one. So it's not about the kilograms.
Yeah, it's really about
yes, of course, you cannot compare an 80 kilogram guy with a 120 kilogram guy. You can't. But it's not only about the kilograms. Sometimes I cannot remember his name. It's a pro guy. Last year he came into the Olympia 98 kilograms in a man's physique. This year he came in 94 kilograms, so 4 kilograms less, but way better conditioned. And his placing was better, like 3 or 4 places, which is an Olympia. To win 3 places, it's a good one. Yeah. And he was smaller, like 4 kilograms. Or even in a classic, Terence Ruffin.
Mm-hmm.
Last year at the Olympia, he was coming 2 kilograms less than last year. So it's not always about the kilograms.
Yeah, it's about the look.
Or maybe you can have more kilograms. Okay, this is the perfect scenario. You can have more kilograms and better conditioning.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Like if you can get muscles.
That's a perfect one. So building up from the very, very beginning is very important.
Yeah.
Once you are not planning everything, you will guess the whole prep. So you will guess, okay, so what to do now, what we did last year. No, write it down. Week 1 to 4, we want to do this. Week 5 to 8, we want to do that. Accomplished? Yes. Move on. Next one. And this is how you can work effective.
Yeah.
If you are guessing, if you are not collecting the data, that will be a game of guessing. So, and which for me is very important. Learn the athletes to be more, I don't know how to say it. Make them to learn the process. Don't let them being robots. Like they just ask you, okay, what we do now? You tell them and they execute. Now, guys, ask me why we do that. You are the athlete. You must know what will be happening with your body.
Yeah.
And why we are doing that. Okay, I don't mean they must know like physiology and biochemistry and everything as we coaches know, not in the details. But if I ask them about, I don't know, simple questions like why are you taking creatine, or why are you taking intra-workout cluster dextrine with essential aminos, they must have an answer for this.
Yeah.
Not just like, because my coach told me to do it. This is absolutely nonsense. No, so you must make them to understand they have to know a little bit about what is happening with them.
Yeah.
Because if they have no idea about anything, they cannot offer you like objective feedback. Because they have no idea about what means like food volume reduction, he will say, oh coach, I'm hungry. No, man, you're not hungry. You're eating the same calories, the same macros, but your stomach is a little bit smaller because I cut down the volume. I compress everything in a little bit, and that's it. I say, oh, okay, it's fine. No, so there are minimal informations they have to know about.
Yeah, you have to educate your clients.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So they cannot coach them just like mechanically. Like you say, 1,000 step extra. He say, okay, I'm going now, and he will count 1,000 steps and go home. I'm done. No, this is not working like this.
Yeah, you have to
You must,
explain why and stuff.
yeah. Ask me, and I'm happy to answer your questions. But don't ask me 5 times the same question.
Yeah.
Because I will feel like I'm wasting my time. Okay, you don't get it once. I will explain second time, probably third time. But if I explain to you 3 times and you don't get a point, probably the problem is on your side. Okay, do you have any other questions?
No, I think it's fine. I think we covered a lot of things in depth. So we can just do like a little recap about everything. Like for the off season, take as much time as you need to improve. You have to structure it as a prep because it's still like the improvement phase. So it's very important to structure it and like use good programs, good like diet protocols. Everything has to be on point. And then when you finish your off season, you have to like assess how many weeks you need to prep and step on stage with a good condition and a good physique. And if you're doing many shows, as we said, maybe just try to find your peak show and just adjust things accordingly. And then post show, you have to also deal with it and be with a good coach so you don't fuck up your post show.
Yes, what I just want to add as a finisher, planning how many weeks you need, it's very easy. I mean, like, your previous contest weight was 90 kilograms on stage. Okay, you did 20 weeks off season, you probably put on some muscle tissue. So this time you will want to see yourself like 91, 92 kilograms on the stage. How many kilograms do you have right now? 112. Okay, that means you have 20 kilograms of fat on you, which must be cut off. How many weeks do you think you can manage this? Okay, so probably if you ended up your off season at 6,000 calories, you can do a 1,000 calorie cut, which will mean 7,000 calories at the end of the week, which should be 1 kilogram of fat. So like in 20 weeks going like this, you will cut off your 20 kilograms of fat. Okay, this is the perfect scenario.
Yeah.
You cannot keep up, or it will be very, very difficult to keep up 1 kilogram a week.
Yeah.
You can more. There's no problem. If lipolytic stack and everything is on point, you can do more. But let's be honest, you cannot start with lipolytics 20 weeks out. You just can't. You just cannot doing yohimbine and clenbuterol for 20 weeks. So it's not that complicated to figure out how many weeks you need. You just have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Man, how many kilograms do I have to cut off? This amount. Okay. There you go. And if you see there is no progress you want, you cut more. That's why you have to have big enough numbers there to have the ability to cut from there. Because if you ended up your off season on 3,000 calories, what are you going to cut off?
Yeah. Good.
So as a recap, guys, plan your off season with your coach. Talk to him. Don't let him working alone. You must communicate with him. Give him objective feedbacks about everything, about absolutely everything you think he must know about you. This way, you can plan up a very, very effective off season, which can lead into improving your physique, which can put you in a very, very good spot to start a contest prep. With a contest prep, don't rush. Don't try to get ready in 8 weeks. Don't ask him dropping the calories drastically. So don't expect, if you were running 6,000 calories, to start dieting down on 3,000. Take it step by step. Enjoy the process. Trust your coach, but in the same time, question him. Ask him why. Why we do that or why we do this. Question him, and he will be happy to answer you. All right. So thank you for the invitation. Hopefully we talked about a lot of things that will be useful for other coaches and maybe athletes.
I think so, yeah.
So probably we will be back very, very soon with other topics. As competition season is coming, we're going to have to talk about more.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, thanks a lot and see you soon in the next episode.